Hey guys, welcome back to another video with lame reviews. So the reason why I'm holding my mic right here is because the table is a bit far away and don't tell me to get nearer to the table. So number two is a bit dark right now because my lights are out and yeah. Alright, so let's get to the main point. This is the Mi Watch and I've been wearing it for the past 1 week. And yeah, I've used it for my runs, I've used it to track my jungle tracking. I've even slept with this watch so that I could get the readings and share it with you guys. So in this super in-depth review, there's going to be a list of 12 items that I'm going to share with you. That is the most important aspects of the watch I think that you must know. And yeah, this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual. So sit back, relax, and let's get to the review right away. So before we do that, let's just quickly go through a quick introduction on the Mi Watch for all those of you who are still new to this watch. So this is a watch by Xiaomi, obviously, and it comes with a 1.78-inch AMOLED display. It supports always-on display like you can see right here. Very cool. Meanwhile, it is running on the Qualcomm Snapdragon Wear 3100 platform. So it is pretty powerful. It comes with 1GB of RAM, 8GB of internal memory, and it is running on Wear OS. So this watch, the great thing about this watch is that it supports an eSIM so that your watch is always connected to the internet. You can make calls, receive data, and all this without having your smartphone beside you. So that's a great thing about having a watch that supports an eSIM. Moving on, now that we have got the quick specs out of the way, let's just talk about the price of this watch. So obviously this is currently only available in China and I got it here for 1,299 yuan, which is almost equivalent to 185 US dollars. So here I have this price list where you can find your respective countries in it. Yeah, so this watch is not really cheap, but I wouldn't say that it is very expensive as well. So now let's jump into the reviews, the full checklist. First up, let's talk about the design. Design wise, to be honest, it looks a bit decent to me. I don't find it very ugly. A lot of people are saying that it looks like the Apple Watch, but that doesn't really bother me. So the button layout on the watch is actually pretty great. We have this crown right here that you can rotate to navigate. We have this little mic hole as well as the multi-purpose function button. So this is actually like a shortcut key. Actually, you can just hit it once and it will jump into any app that you design it to launch. On the other side here, we have this fairly large speaker, and I'll talk more about it later. But overall, the design of the watch is pretty good to me. The only issue that we're having here is the thickness of this watch, which is about 12.3 millimeters. So it is very much thicker than the Amazfit GTS that I have here. Just look at it side by side. So yes, it is very thick. Some of you might hate it, but I personally don't love it, but I don't hate it that much as well. So far, it's pretty okay. So moving on, let's talk about the build quality and comfort of this watch. The build quality of the Mi Watch is great. There is nothing to complain about it. These sides are made of aluminum. The back is actually stainless steel if I'm not mistaken. But overall, the materials used here are very good. We have premium materials used here. I don't have any scratches whatsoever on the screen. Even after peeling off the screen protector, it feels like a premium watch. But on the other hand, the watch strap itself feels a bit thin and flimsy. Just look at how thin this strap is. It is quite comfortable, but the thickness of it is very thin and it feels a bit flimsy. So overall, the comfort is good, except that the watch feels a bit heavy on the head. Like for example, it feels like I have a chunk of metal like strapped to my wrist when I wear this. So about the weight, the Mi Watch is 56 grams, whereas the Amazfit GTS is only 25 grams. So it is about almost... Actually, it is actually more than double the weight of the Amazfit GTS, and I'm so used to this lightweight watch that once I put this on, it just feels heavy. So like I said, it is not really so heavy, but because the straps are so thin, it really feels heavy on the top of the watch. I hope you understand what I mean right there. So overall, build quality wise, I'm still pretty happy with it. Moving on, let's talk about this display. So as I mentioned earlier on, we have an AMOLED display here and the watch faces work great. It will show the actual time even though it is in standby mode. So right now you see if I just tap the screen, it will show this, it'll be lighted up, and after that it will just move into this standby mode. So this standby mode watch face is actually live. The clock is actually still ticking, and yeah, you can still see the time even at this standby mode. Alright, so the thing that I don't really like about the display is that it goes off very quickly. So let me just demonstrate to you. Right now I have the screen turned on, and in about like 3 seconds the screen will just go off right away. I mean, it has such a beautiful watch face right here, but it just goes off too quickly. And I know it is to save the battery, but sometimes I just want to see the screen a little longer, and I just have to click and I just have to keep tapping on the display so that I can see the watch face. Sometimes you want to see this little information as well, and it just goes off too quickly for you to actually read it. So that's the one thing that I don't like about the display. In terms of fitness tracking, the Mi Watch tracks running and walking very accurately. I've actually went to the gym, I went on running, and I found that the step tracker is actually very accurate. It is very similar to the ones on the information that I'm getting from the treadmill. The distance calculated is also very accurate. I can't say much about swimming because I don't swim, but so far fitness tracking has been pretty accurate for me. Let's talk about the GPS right now. So a lot of people as well has been asking about how the GPS performs on the Mi Watch, and if you talk about the Mi Watch running on its own, the GPS is not great. I can barely get a connection with the watch running on its own. I'll definitely have to have my smartphone nearby so that it can connect the GPS, but yeah, so if you have an eSIM, the connection will definitely be much better. Moving on to the heart rate tracking, I found the heart rate sensor on this Mi Watch very accurate. Some of you might know, I actually have a blood pressure monitor right here that I use to cross-check the heart rate information. And yes, the heart rate sensor is accurate. It is very similar to the results that I get on this professional blood pressure monitor. So heart rate tracking wise, it is good. Another thing that I like about the heart rate tracking on this watch is that the Mi Watch doesn't detect any heart rate when you're not wearing it. So what I mean by this is on my Amazfit GTS, let's take a look at this. I have not been wearing the Amazfit GTS for the past 2 days, 3 days. And look, it is still detecting some heart rate here. So I don't know which ghost is like putting this on because there is still a heart rate here. What this do is it actually messes up with the overall heart rate information in the app. So the overall results are actually inaccurate. So I'm glad to report that there is no such issue on the Mi Watch here. Everything that it detects is actually very accurate. Alright, moving on to sleep tracking. Sleep tracking on the Mi Watch is actually fine. I can't really tell how accurate it is, but it does tell the time that I went to bed and get out of bed accurately. One thing is that I did wake up feeling great today, even though the watch said I had a poor sleep the night before. Let me just quickly show you the result that I got here. So as you can see here, I got a score of 49 last night, and it says that I slept less than the recommended amount, the quality of my sleep is low, and that my performance today may be compromised due to the structure of my sleep. Yeah, I guess I'll just use this for reference. It does track, like I said, the time I go to bed and get up of bed accurately. So yeah, I would say that for you, if you're just looking to get a better sleep, just go to bed earlier. Don't rely too much on the watch itself. Alright, so in terms of Bluetooth connectivity, the watch uses Bluetooth 4.2, but so far connectivity has been pretty consistent. So the difference between Bluetooth 4.2 and 5.0 is basically range. However, if you have your smartphone with you most of the time, range should not be an issue. And on the other hand, if you have an eSIM, you can also forget about range as you'll be connected via data on your watch and can work without your smartphone. So as a result of that, I would think that Bluetooth 4.2 isn't such a bad thing here. But what I did notice was that because I did not have an eSIM, there was a lot of data being transferred between my phone and watch, and this caused quite a significant drain on my phone's battery. So I can't really tell like how much exactly it has been draining my smartphone right here, but I definitely noticed a more significant drain in battery on my smartphone. So hopefully this can be fixed with an eSIM. Right now I don't have the eSIM, but I'm getting one, so let's talk more about that in the future. Speaking of the eSIM, let me just quickly talk about the call quality performance on the Mi Watch. So calling on this watch is actually pretty good. Connection of the call without an eSIM is still great. It's definitely not as clear as using your phone itself, but it definitely does the job pretty well. So for those of you who likes to make calls using your watch itself, you can definitely do it on the Mi Watch. Next, let's talk about music playback. The Mi Watch can play music because you can download music apps onto the watch itself. And what's interesting here is that you can actually connect Bluetooth earphones to the watch and listen off it. So this is great if you go for a run without carrying a smartphone with you, because you can still enjoy music on the go without your smartphone. On that note, let me talk a bit about the speaker performance. So we have a single firing speaker on the watch that actually works pretty well. If you're the kind of person who plays music off your watch, you'd be happy to find that this party trick actually works pretty well. However, the sound coming out of this tiny little speaker right here is a little bit thinnish, but come on, this is a watch. What do you expect? There is not much bass here, and yeah, the fact that you can still play music from this speaker still is pretty cool, I guess. Last but not least, let's talk about the battery life on this watch. So, the battery life here is only 1.5 to 2 days max. I'll definitely love to have more battery, but unfortunately that's what you get, and you'll definitely have to charge your watch every night to get a full juice the following morning. So a slight problem here is when I use the watch to track my sleep. Based on my test, the watch uses about 20% of battery for tracking 7 hours of my sleep the night before. So if you decide to track your sleep, you'll definitely end up with insufficient battery for the next day ahead. So think about it. Also, it takes about 2 hours to get a watch from 15% to 100%. So charging on this little thing right here is not exactly fast. And I would say it is a bit slow for such a small battery. But yeah, so if you want to track your sleep, this doesn't really make sense because you'll end up needing to charge the watch the next morning. So hopefully we can get a better battery with the watch itself. Alright, so that's it for this video, guys. Basically, I've covered almost everything that you need to know. One more thing that is very important is that you need to know that the watch currently is only the watch is currently only running on the Chinese version of Wear OS. So a lot of applications that you usually download on the Google Play Store will not be able to be downloaded on the Mi Watch itself. You can only use Chinese apps for now, so I must highlight this 1,000 times. Do not buy this version if you are based outside of China. You have to wait for the global version, and that might probably come in year 2020. But yeah, that is just something that you need to know. So is this watch for you? So far, I've been feeling a bit of a mixed feelings with this watch. On one hand, I like the way that we can actually respond to notifications. You can reply messages and all that on the watch. It feels great. It runs very smoothly without any lags. But the battery life to me is kind of a slight deal breaker. And the fact that it doesn't feel too comfortable on my wrist is also another part of the deal breaker. So I guess I'll just have to keep using this for another week and use this for another week and see if I actually stick with this watch or go back to my Amazfit GTS. Alright guys, that's it for the video. I hope you found this video helpful. Hopefully this makes it clear on whether or not the Mi Watch is for you. But if you have more questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you find this helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!